Joined now live by King 5 on King 5 by Michael Cairns, who saw the whole thing from the cockpit as a rescue pilot in a helicopter for the National Guard. So thank you first and foremost for your service, for doing that, and also you have such a unique perspective. Can you imagine it's been 45 years ago?
No,
Yeah.
because that makes me 78.
Right.
I was young then.
Every time this anniversary comes around this year, what do you think about when you look back on that day?
It brings back the memories of all the pilots that I flew with, what we did for the first 2 days especially, in the search and rescue part of the operation, and then just the camaraderie that we had. So that's what comes to mind first.
And what was your mission? Rescue missions, of course, but what were you doing in the sky? What were you looking for?
Well, we had to get out of Yakima first. We had gone over there for summer camp. And it's a 2-week summer camp. It started on the 17th of May. The mountain blew up. They called us about 8:45 and said, get the aircraft out of Yakima. And we looked out to the west, and there was a black cloud with lightning on the whole leading edge, covering the entire western sky. So we ran to our aircraft, got our gear out of our barracks, ran to the aircraft, didn't do a normal startup procedure. We just basically got in the aircraft, cranked it as we'd call it, and tried to get out of there as the ash was coming down on top of us, and just sky getting blacker and blacker, and we were trying to wipe the front of our windshield in the helicopter as we were taking off. And then we took about 5 minutes to outfly the ash cloud, flew up to Wenatchee. The fire department hosed us off, and we refilled, went down to Fort Lewis, then down to Kelso.
And just kept going.
Just kept going.
How many rescue missions did you do? Do you have a count?
Well, I did 3 flights on day, 2 flights on day one, and each flight's about 2.5 hours. Yeah. And after that, I flew for the next 4 or 5 weeks on basically body recovery and recovery of people and things. So the first 2 days, everyone was flying about 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours. The second day, about 12 hours. And we had there are no GPS electronics in an old Huey helicopter.
Right.
So we had to fly by maps, and all the pilots were experienced Vietnam combat pilots. They're all great guys, and we're not shaken by knowing we were going to fly into something that was totally unknown. Nobody knew what it was going to feel like to fly under the cloud with ash coming down and pelting the aircraft, and what sights we were going to see, and would the aircraft be able to fly in an ash cloud? You know, would the engine flame out?
Would you all be okay?
We were okay.
Yeah.
We were invincible, we thought.
Right.
Well, you know, most of the pilots in Vietnam were 22 years old as a helicopter combat pilot. So most of the guys like me at St. Helens, I was 33 at the time, so we had a lot of experience.
Yeah, amazing. And I know right now you have a book you're working on, Under the Ash. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and what people can expect reading that and looking at some of these images in there?
Sure. There are 3 aspects to what we did. The search, the rescue. That's kind of the first couple days. After that, there was nobody alive that we knew of that we were going to be able to pull out. And then that brought in the recovery portion, which took another 6 weeks. I think I pulled out the last person that was found on July 10th. So that's the time frame that we were under.
That's a long time has passed.
It's a long time, yeah.
Well, I know it's important work what you were doing back then. It's still important work what you're doing right now, documenting this history and your experience. So,
I forgot to share.
Yeah. Tell
So
me
my
about
daughter, my daughter Kim, and my son Michael, saying to me, "Hey, Dad, you're probably going to die one of these days soon, and why don't we have you write a little bit about your history, your legacy?" And I said, I don't think so. And they said, I think so. And then I got together with a graphic artist, and she convinced me that I could do this. And so I took all of the photographs that Kim had basically put in a scrapbook for me, and put them in the sequence of the days that we were flying.
Yeah.
so that it would make sense. And then I put stories with everything, including stories of a person that I pulled out on the first day, Sue Ruff, who was with her boyfriend Bruce Nelson and Grant Christensen. Two of their friends had been killed by a fallen tree. They had hiked about 12 miles through unbelievably bad terrain, 100 degrees on the ground and in the aircraft, sulfur everywhere. And they hiked out, and we pulled them out about this time, about 5:15, 5:30 on Monday, and brought them back in. Then Ann Curry actually did a show called We'll Meet Again, where Sue was featured trying to find me and reunite.
That's amazing. Yeah. There's stories of amazing rescues in there and recoveries too, and very sad overall what happened on this day 45 years ago. We thank you so much for joining us, Michael Cairns. Thank you for being here.
Thank
we
you.
Appreciate it. Your story is remarkable, and there's more to it in Under the Ash.
And this is Under the Ash.
Yes, there it is. Thank you so much, Michael. We appreciate you. And again, we have compiled so many of our stories about Mount St. Helens, including King 5's original coverage from 1980. Text the word ERUPT to 206-448-4545. We'll send you a link.